you.
I tried so hard and got so far.
Hello everyone, welcome to Andy Visits. If you are still reeling from the violence and drama of Arthur Fleck's tragic journey, watch this to find out about the little things you missed. And here comes the warning of spoilers. If you don't want any spoilers, you can skip this one. References from the real life incidents. Joker pulls a big portion of its aesthetics from New York City in the mid-90s. And not just because it's evoking the grimy crime-ridden streets of Taxi Driver and the King of Comedy, there are real-life incidents forming the background for the events playing out on the screen, including the massive spike in crime that accompanied the crack epidemic and a garbage strike that's based on similar sanitation workers' strikes in New York, like one that lasted 17 days in 1981. The one incident most heavily referenced in the plot of Joker in the 1984 shooting of four men in a subway car by Bernie Goetz. Goetz claimed that he was defending himself from a robbery and was initially dubbed the subway vigilant by media before he turned himself in. Many New Yorkers, as well as people following the story from elsewhere, were supportive for Goetz's actions, viewing them as a justified response to the seemingly unchecked rise of violent crime. Cosmetics headlines. Well, there is something in the early moments of Joker that may have a little extra Easter egg type significance. Shortly after we are first introduced to Arthur Fleck, he goes to get his medication from a drugstore and walks past a window with two words written in neon: cosmetics and drugs. The drugs Arthur is taking are a form of cosmetics. It's mental makeup. His medication is clearly ineffective. It's only covering up something much uglier, and when he stops taking it, he says that he is his real self. Maybe not the best message to float toward anyone in the audience struggling with the mental health issues themselves, but definitely the viewpoint that Arthur himself has. Joker and Scorsese are connected. There is a very significant amount of Taxi Driver in the DNA of Joker's broader plot points, from Arthur getting the handgun from his co-worker, Thomas Wayne's political ambitions, and the grimy feel of Gotham City. It's not the only Scorsese picture in play, though 1983, The King of Comedy had a huge influence on Joker, to the point where it's worth your time to watch just to catch everything that's going on. Easter egg comes in De Niro himself being cast as Murray Franklin, the talk show host with whom Fleck is obsessed. Naturally, he winds up being caught up in Fleck's madness, even accidentally giving him the name Joker. Breaking tradition. Rather than the traditional purple, Arthur Fleck's emergence as the Joker comes with a slightly different look. The green hair is there and the traditional three-piece suit, but rather than purple and green, it's more of a burgundy. It's a small difference, and the most likely explanation is that Todd Phillips, Joaquin Phoenix, and costume designer Mark Bridges wanted their take on the character to be visually distinct from the others, which was probably a good idea given a few strong similarity to Heath Ledger's look. Climax. The entire climax of the film is an Easter egg referencing one of the most influential Batman comics of all time, The Dark Knight Returns. In the third issue of Frank Miller's 80s classic, itself a product of the same era that Joker is constantly evoking. With its own set of Taxi Driver references, the Joker appears as a guest on a talk show. It's definitely not a direct homage to the comics, and it doesn't line up exactly right. The Joker's at the end of his criminal career rather than the beginning, and instead of the movies, Murray Franklin, the host in the comic, is David Endocrine.